How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Boy, we've got an action-packed episode for you today. These are the scariest video clips going around the internet right now. So hit that subscribe button and get ready for more spooky content just like this. This next clip was sent in by one of our viewers, Brian. It's captured on a home security camera set up in the bedroom, and what it shows is pretty strange. Brian explains that he and his wife moved into the home on February 4th, 2024, and that they later discovered a man had passed away in that very room almost exactly a year earlier, February 3rd, 2023. A mist-like shape can be seen slowly rising up from the bed. Brian says this wasn't the first unexplained event they've experienced in the home. The TV in the same room has reportedly turned off by itself twice, and other small disturbances have been noticed since moving in. So what do you think? Is this a trick of lighting, or could this strange mist be something more? This next one is deeply unsettling, and eerily, the original uploader has since deleted their account. No one knows exactly why. Some even wonder if something bad happened. The footage was captured by a night security guard working at a crematorium inside a cemetery.
They turn off automatically at a certain hour, and I'll tell you right now.
The guard said he wanted to record the area to show his brother-in-law just how creepy it felt to patrol the grounds after dark.
I'm gonna walk you through.
At first, everything seems calm, but as he walks past the cremation furnaces, a series of sharp tapping sounds can be heard on the audio.
Now, I have a friend that works that he would see and hear things coming from these furnaces when they're burning the bodies. So when I'm walking through here...
Then, in the next room, something super creepy happens.
They usually put the urns out to send to the families. So when I'm walking here at night, I walk right by these urns that they put on these tables here. And then I come down, freaking out.
A single urn begins to vibrate on its own, while every other urn in the room remains completely still. Moments later, the lid on that same urn begins to creak open by itself. Panicking, the guard bolts out of the room and reports the incident to his supervisor. But before the clip ends, the camera captures one final chilling detail. As he runs through the doorway, the plastic flaps on the door move, as if something unseen is following him out. So what was really going on in that crematorium? A draft, vibrations from machinery, or something far more sinister still lingering among the ashes? This next clip comes from the YouTube channel Paranormies, who several years ago uploaded their second paranormal investigation of a supposedly haunted investment property owned by a man named Jeffrey.
Rachel, would you like to speak with us one more time?
According to local rumors, the house is haunted by the spirit of a woman named Rachel, who is said to have died tragically after discovering her husband's infidelity.
That's weird.
The details surrounding her death remain unclear, but some claim she fell or was pushed down the stairs.
We eventually caught something that seemed to be walking through this area.
This way, yeah, back into the bathroom.
Armed with spirit boxes, K2 meters, and REM pods, the Paranormies team set out to uncover the truth behind Rachel's fate.
And Rachel, we believe that your name is Rachel. We would like to talk to you once again. Do you remember us?
Throughout their investigation, they received several eerie responses through the equipment suggesting that Rachel fell. leading them to believe her death may have been an accident rather than murder or suicide. But what they captured on camera that night has viewers questioning whether they actually filmed something supernatural. While exploring the living room, the team captured something eerie.
Brilliant that what? That we set the Ouija board up in the same spot?
The shape appears faint at first glance, but when slowed down, a figure becomes visible. The investigators confirmed that multiple camera angles were recording the same area, yet the reflection only appeared in the TV. No team member was near the spot at the time, and moments later, when the camera panned toward it, no one was there. Later in the investigation, things take another chilling turn.
Was she like pregnant when?
I don't know.
When she died, like that is that another?
Or was there a child involved? That's why there was like a cheating scandal thing with the cousin or something. Like, was she pregnant? That's why he was like running off. Maybe there was a reason.
While discussing their findings, the footage shows a woman-shaped figure walking past a window in the background. The team didn't notice it in real time, it was only spotted later during editing. Later that evening, during a Ouija board session, something odd happens.
Well, we can't
Say goodbye and we'll come over there.
Oh!
A black mass can be seen drifting through the adjacent room. Whether it was a camera glitch or something else entirely, the team insists it had visible depth and movement that couldn't easily be explained. Finally, while filming in the basement laundry, they captured perhaps the most disturbing moment of all. In the reflection of a mirror, a full-bodied apparition appears, a woman with dark hair standing silently behind them. When the footage is slowed down, the figure is unmistakable. The team was visibly shaken. They review footage from another angle, confirming no one else was present in the basement during the recording. So have the Paranormies done what countless investigators before them have only dreamed of? Have they captured definitive proof of a ghost on camera? I'll let you decide. This next clip was sent in by one of our viewers. Captured by a Tesla's built-in security system, the footage shows a quiet, empty FedEx parking lot late at night. The car's motion sensors suddenly trigger, activating the side camera, and what appears next has left viewers divided. Out of nowhere, an enormous mass manifests directly in front of the Tesla. Some believe this is just a camera glitch or a raindrop hitting the lens, especially since near the end of the footage you can spot what seems to be another droplet sliding down the screen. But others are convinced it's something more, a sign from above, or perhaps even a guardian spirit watching over the driver. So what do you think? A glitch in the machine or a glimpse of the divine? This next story takes us deep into the jungles of Kelantan, Malaysia, where two friends claim to have had a terrifying encounter unlike anything they'd ever seen before. While travelling through a restricted area of the tropical forest one evening, the pair reported a sudden sense of dread, followed by an encounter that would leave them shaken for life. Panicked, one of the men scrambles up a nearby tree while his friend, who is much closer to the unidentified figure, narrowly escapes being grabbed. To this day, they have no idea what they saw, an undiscovered species, a supernatural entity, or something that was never meant to be found.
Hello. Ma, mau ada mana? Mari dekat kebun kejap. Oh. Dah aku ni ada atas pokok ni ada beruang.
This next clip was sent in by a viewer named Neil, who captured something truly strange in the skies above Kalgoorlie Boulder, Western Australia.
What the hell is that?
While driving to work one morning, Neil noticed a white object floating in the distance.
What the hell is that?
Curious, he decided to investigate, stopping to ask a pair of school kids if they could see it too. One of them reportedly exclaimed, "That's what I was telling my friend about."
What the hell is that?
Neil drove closer and filmed the object, which appeared to be slowly rotating or tumbling high above the town. The mysterious shape stayed suspended in roughly the same position for over 30 minutes, showing no obvious signs of movement, propulsion, or descent. To this day, Neil has no idea what he witnessed, whether it was a weather balloon, drone, or something else entirely. Whatever it was, it left him, and those who've seen the footage, completely baffled. Before we get to our last segment for the day, remember to help us out by slapping that like button, leaving some comments and sharing this on your socials. The legend of Theophilus Brome's Screaming Skull is one of the most famous of England's 7 well-documented guardian skull hauntings. The skull, belonging to Theophilus Brome, sometimes spelled Broom, has been preserved for over 3 centuries at Higher Chiltern Farm in the quiet village of Chiltern Cantello, near Yeovil in South Somerset. To this day, it rests inside a wooden cabinet mounted on the farmhouse wall, a relic tied to a chilling legacy that refuses to fade. The story begins in the 17th century amid the turmoil of the English Civil War. Theophilus Brome was born a royalist, loyal to the crown, but became deeply disturbed by the brutal treatment of prisoners by King Charles's forces. His conscience drove him to defect to the parliamentarian Roundheads, a decision that would haunt him, literally and figuratively, for the rest of his life. When the monarchy was restored in 1660, Brome knew his allegiance switch had branded him a traitor. He feared that after his death his enemies would desecrate his remains, as was common for perceived traitors, by digging up his body and placing his head on public display. To prevent such humiliation, Brome made an extraordinary request. Before his burial, his head was to be removed and kept safe at the family home as its eternal guardian. He made his sister swear that his skull would never leave the farmhouse. His body was interred in the crypt of the local church, but his head remained behind, locked away in the farmhouse, as a sentinel. Over time, the strange relic became the centre of local legend, According to witnesses, any attempt to remove or bury the skull unleashed supernatural chaos. Residents described horrid noises echoing through the farmhouse, dreadful screams rattling doors, and the violent shaking of windows. Items were thrown about, doors slammed on their own, and unseen hands tormented anyone who dared interfere with Brome's remains. The disturbances only ceased once the skull was returned to its rightful place inside the farmhouse. It was said that Brome's spirit, tied to the house by his dying wish, would never rest until his skull remained safely at home, a guardian of the living and a warning to those who would break his final vow. The legend is not merely folklore. It was first recorded in 1791 by historian John Collinson in the History and Antiquities of the County of Somerset. Collinson described how numerous tenants over the years had tried to bury the skull, only to be frightened by unearthly screams and noises. Further evidence appeared nearly 2 centuries later. When the church crypt was opened during restoration work sometime between 1860 and 1870, the skeleton identified as Brome's was indeed missing its skull, corroborating the tale. Several documented incidents have kept the legend alive, and each attempt to disturb the skull seems to have ended in misfortune. Circa 1770, a sexton tried to rebury the skull in the churchyard but was terrified when his spade broke in 2 while digging. Taking this as a bad omen, he quickly returned the skull to the farmhouse. 1826. During renovations at the farm, workers used the skull as a makeshift beer mug, reportedly passing it around in jest. Surprisingly, this act of disrespect caused no immediate supernatural reaction, suggesting that only removal or burial, not mockery, provoked the haunting. 1977. 2 researchers investigating the skull's authenticity decided to move it and joke about the legend. The consequences were swift and deadly. One man suffered a serious car crash, with some accounts claiming he was killed, while the other sustained severe burns after dropping a cigarette into his trouser leg. Today, the skull of Theophilus Brome remains sealed within its cabinet at Higher Chiltern Farm. Locals treat it with quiet reverence, a relic of both the Civil War's bloody history and the eerie folklore that binds England's haunted past, whether viewed as a cautionary tale of loyalty and legacy, or a genuine case of supernatural guardianship. Brome's skull continues to watch over the farmhouse, silent but ever present. For those who believe in restless spirits, it's best to leave Theophilus Brome undisturbed, lest the screaming begin again.
Well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you can't get enough of what we do here at Slaptam, then consider watching some more content here. Leave us a comment down below. Let us know which one of these clips you thought was the scariest or weirdest. We love getting your feedback. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.